Hi, fifth grade. It's Miss Conley here again. And today we're working on Unit 1, Week 1, and the comprehension skill is sequencing. So let me share my screen with you all. I hope everybody's good. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all healthy. And it should be coming up here in just a second. So sequence is the order of events in which things happen. So think to yourself, there's always a logical sequence of events when you do things, right? Say you're, I don't know, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? You have to get all your supplies. You need the peanut butter, you need the bread, you need a knife, you need the jelly. Then you get your 2 slices of bread open, you put peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other side, and you put them together, right? You can't really deviate from that sequence of things too much. Otherwise, you won't have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So, the sequence of events. Right now, I have all these cards, and they are how you make a snowman, right? So, there's definitely a sequence of events to making a snowman. So, let's put these in order. So, as I'm doing this, think to yourself, which one comes first? Which one comes next? Which one is last? And then finally. And those are some key words that are used in sequencing. You have those transition words. You have first, next, last, third, then, finally, afterwards, before. Certain transition words help you know that the story is about sequence. So as I'm looking at all these pieces here, which one would come first? It would not be this one. I don't think it would be the one with 3 either. So I would start with this one. Okay, so let's put that first. After you get the bottom of your snowman built, which card would come next? We would start building it up, right? So this one with the middle body piece, the middle snowball, would come next. And then what do you think would happen after that? You would probably say, well, he needs a head, right? So then we put the head on. And now we have these 3 pieces that are left. After we do that, I'm going to say the next step is probably, because this one looks like this one doesn't have a face and that one has a face. So I'm going to say this one is next. You start putting his body together. You put his arms, some mittens. You put 3 little stones as if he's wearing a button-down shirt. Then we come to put his face on. And then last but not least is where you put the hat on, maybe a scarf, some accessories, and you have your finished snowman. After you start here, first, next, then, after, finally, finished product. There we go. Good job, everybody. So as we're reading this story coming up, think of what is going on in a story. It's about lemonade or making a lemonade stand. So as I get everything set up here, start thinking to yourself, how would I go about making a lemonade stand? What are the steps that I need to take? Because you need, obviously, lemonade. You need a stand or a table of some sort to put everything on, right? People need to know about it. So there's actually a lot of steps involved in making this lemonade stand. So I'm going to start reading, and as I am reading, start thinking to yourself the sequence of events. And over here, you have this worksheet that I have. We're going to do this together, but you can see there's pieces missing. So we got to start filling in these pieces. So as I'm reading, if you think, oh, she just read that, you're probably right. That would be that next step. Okay? So follow along with me here. Mom is always telling me I need to earn my own money. So this summer, I decided to have a lemonade stand. The first Saturday of summer, I jumped out of bed and darted to the kitchen. Where is the sugar? "Where are the lemonades?" I called out frantically to my mom. My mom came in yawning as she reached for her coffee mug. She explained that I couldn't just throw a lemonade stand together in 10 minutes. I would need to have a well thought out plan prior to having my stand, which is true. I agree with that. I was terribly frustrated that I would have to wait until next weekend for my money-making venture. I spent the week making lots of lists. First, I listed all the supplies: lemons, sugar, paper cups, and straws. My mom said before she would wake me up for shopping for supplies, I would have to decide how much money I was willing to spend on supplies, because I would have to pay her back for my earnings. So I surfed the web, calculated the cost of the supplies I would need. I compared prices at many different locations nearby to find the best deals. We finally went shopping, and I spent $12, which I borrowed from my mom. Okay, so we can stop there and start filling in some of our chart. So the first thing, she decided to have a lemonade stand, right? And then mom said I needed a plan. So I remember that was back in paragraph number 1. So I'm going to find what happens between I need a lemonade stand and mom explained I need a plan. And chances are these exact sentences are going to be in paragraph 1. So let's look for them together. I decided to have a lemonade stand. Mom was always telling me I need to earn money. I decided to have a lemonade stand. I'm going to highlight that. There we go. And then mom explained I would need a plan. I called out frantically my mom. She came in yawning as she reached for a coffee mug. She explained I couldn't just throw it together in 10 minutes. I would need to have a plan. There we go. I'm going to highlight that one too. So now we know this piece in the middle is somewhere in the middle here. So let's figure out what we got. Oh, where did that go? I'm sorry. There we are. So what happened in the middle? The first Saturday I jumped out of bed, darted to the kitchen. Where's the sugar? Where's the lemonades? I called out to my mom. Oh, here we go. This one fits in just right. The first Saturday, I'm going to use a different highlighter for this so you can see what we actually put in the chart. The first Saturday, I jumped out of bed, darted to the kitchen, called out frantically that I couldn't just put a lemonade stand together. Right, there we go. And there's that piece in there. Okay, so next, remember we stopped right here. So next, she surfed the web and concluded the list of supplies, and I went shopping with my mom. So what happened between I needed a plan and I surfed the web? Well, let's see. I surfed, that one's right here. I surfed the web, calculated the cost of supplies. We finally went shopping. Here's that other one. So now we need to find this one, which comes after I needed a plan and I calculated the supplies. Now think, what do you need to do in the middle there? What supplies do you need, right? So she listed all the supplies: lemons, sugar, cups, and straws that she would need to make a lemonade stand. Okay, let's continue on reading paragraphs 3 and 4. Now we have found that number 1 was in paragraph number 1, number 2 was in paragraph number 2. So we can make the inference that number 3 is going to be in paragraph 3, and number 4 will probably be at number 4, right? Okay, so let's continue on. The night before my stand, I made posters to advertise. I decided I would hang poster boards up on each lamppost near my home. After a restless sleep, I woke up early to mix the lemonade. Once the lemonade was mixed, I went outside to set up my table. I hung the signs up and down the street, then I finally opened for business. I didn't have many customers at first, but after lunch I had a rush of customers. I ended up making $32 on my first lemonade stand. I was so excited to have some extra spending money. I started dreaming about how I would spend my earnings. But before I got too carried away, I remember I needed to pay my mom back the $12 for supplies. Okay, let's stop there. Let's find what happens here. So she made her posters, and then she set up the table for the stand. And we need to find out what is here in the middle. I made posters. Here we go. I set up my table for the lemonade stand. I went outside, set up my table. So what happens in between making posters the night before and then going outside? I mean, she was probably pretty excited about this, right? So I'd say she would be waking up early to mix the lemonade. Because you got to have it ready to go when people show up, right? Okay. Now this one in number 4, that's probably going to be a little tough because we got 2 blanks. So we have, I opened for business. Okay. Let's highlight that. And that's after I set up my table. I hung the signs up and down the street. I opened for business. Here we go. So this one might be pretty easy. What's in between there? She hung up her signs, right? And there we go. Let's highlight that in yellow too. I hung the signs up and down the street. Okay. She opened for business. What happened after she opened for business? She sold some, right? Do you remember how much she made from that? I bet that's going to be that last thing. Let's find out how much money she made. Let's go back into the passage and find it. I didn't have many customers at first. After lunch, I had a rush of customers. I ended up making $32. Let's highlight that. I ended up making $32 on my first lemonade stand. And there we go. But now, just to, take this one step further. Did she really make $32? Let's add some math into this. Because she had to pay her mom back what? $12. So 32 minus 12 would be, do the math real quick right now. Did you say $20? You are correct. So she made $20 profit after she paid her mom back. Good job, everybody. Now that is sequence of events. So as you're going back and you're reading a story and you're doing your work, remember, the sequence of events is the order in which things happen. And if you have trouble remembering that, here's a strategy you could do. You could go back to your snowman activity, right? And you could start drawing a snowman and think what comes first, what comes next. Go back through the steps in your head. And just like in our story, how everything was right in order, that's also going to happen. So if you're doing sequence of events in a story we're reading, and the questions are asking you things, you always start at the beginning. What comes next? What's after that? What's after that? And then finally, everything will always go in order from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. So I hope this helped you guys out. I hope to see you guys soon. Have a great night or day. Make sure you finish all your work, and I will be back later on with another video. Bye, everybody.